As some of you may know, I've been rocking with the S22 Plus for a couple of months now, but I miss the old days. The days of the iPhone, the simplicity, and I wanted to experience the other side again. Because of a different project that I'm working on, I got my hands on the iPhone SE, a 64 gigabyte behemoth. It's the budget iPhone. That's what it is. I thought it would be really fun to experience this iPhone for an entire week as my main driver, to not only see what the budget side of iPhone gives, but also to give me that just dopamine hit that iPhone gives everyday users. So I went ahead and ordered myself one, waited patiently for that FedEx driver that always seems to go by my house but never actually gets here. I even did a little unboxing for you guys, and I realized that I fucked up. I had accidentally ordered one that was already tied to a network, so it wasn't an unlocked version that I could just pop my SIM into. And so unfortunately, I couldn't use it for an entire week. I really wanted to, but that kind of gave me a good opening to talk about the future of not only my phone, but the fact that I'm going to be moving back to iPhone. Let me explain a little bit why, although I'm just kind of a basic bitch, to be honest. This phone is nice. It's a nice phone. Dude, it's insanely small compared to this. Obviously, very budget, very flagship. They're not in the same league. You're not on the same levels. People like to shit on Apple because of how long it took them to implement 120 refresh rate, which, if you don't know, that's just how many times your image refreshes on your screen. It's just giving a smoother effect when you're swiping, when you're reading things. It's just a little bit of an easier thing to get used to. And once you have it, usually it's hard to give it up. But I think Apple has gotten away with this mostly because they are the smoothest. And I'm not the first person to say this. MKBHD says it. So many different tech channels say it. But the iPhone has consistently been one of the best 60 hertz refresh rate panels and like devices that I've ever used. Going from 120 on the Samsung to 60 on an iPhone, even for the little bit of time that I used it, was not bad at all. It was something that like I could definitely get used to, and if I use this as my main driver, it's something that I don't think I would really even notice. Another thing that I realized when picking up this phone is that the customization excuse that some Samsung fanboys use kind of runs dry pretty quickly. Don't get me wrong, I love being able to customize and go into the widgets and really get into like the granular detail of what each widget does and being able to customize it with different applications. But at the end of the day, some of the apps that I use the most are not on a widget. Some of them are actually in the apps, in the app drawer. So you actually physically have to swipe down and go into this little drop down section where I'd have to select the app anyway. iPhone has obviously never really had a really good version of that. I think Samsung has a really good version of their little app drawers. Being able to just swipe down on the homepage and have just your full grid of apps, I think is great. Apple implemented something similar like an app drawer, but it's more in individual squares, and they're trying to tell you exactly what apps go in what category. It's a bit weird. I don't really like how they do it, but since everything is laid out anyway, I don't think it bothers much at all. But I think more and more their audience is demanding more customizability, and Apple is giving it as little as possible with still being able to save that Apple identity and also be optimized for that Apple ecosystem. And even though at times it's boring, it gets a sense of cohesion. And even on their lower end spec phones, you still get that sense of this is Apple. It's not some cheap version of Apple. This is Apple that I would get in the flagship, as well as in the cheapest version that I can get my hands on. To be fair, I think Samsung is about to go into that type of era as well, in optimizing everything that they already have instead of trying to cram in new and exciting technology. I think the era of fingerprint sensors in different areas, 3D cameras is kind of over. I know Samsung wasn't the bleeding edge of that. We had things like LG and HTC really holding it down for the experimental type of phones. But I really think Samsung is going to dial in what they already have with the S series, and especially now with the Fold series that's coming out with like the Fold 3 and the Fold 4. Sorry, the Fold 4 and the Flip 3. Fold 4, Flip 4. Jesus Christ. It's not like huge game changing. The technology is already bleeding edge because we have folding technology, but now they're just trying to refine it and optimize it for that device. I think as soon as they do that, obviously there's going to be way less of a debate. iPhone, Samsung, it's not really going to matter. They're both phones. They're both going to work amazing, and they kind of already do. It's kind of preference at this point. I think this year, going from the iPhone 12 to the Z Flip 3 and now to the S22 Plus, and now even talking about going to the iPhone 14, is really exciting in terms of this year that I've had for phones, but also very kind of crazy. I'm not really the type to want to switch phones too much, but now I'm just excited to get my hands on a 14, kind of not really think about the phone too much, make a video or two about it, and answer any questions. I mean, I'm not gonna get it super early, but I'll be excited to talk about the actual phone and the things that I like about it, because I haven't been on an iOS device in close to probably 6 months. It's not that long. I don't know if I answered any questions really about the iPhone SE. It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone, like a flagship iPhone, like the top of the line iPhone. Is it going to be a little bit slow? Yeah, if you're a heavy user, it's 64 gigabytes of internal storage, so you're not going to be able to hold 4K video. But the type of person who's going to reach for this phone, I don't think is shooting 4K video. First of all, the thing isn't even capable, I don't think, of shooting 4K video. That'd be wild if it was. Oh my God, it could shoot 4K. Holy shit. That's kind of crazy. I mean, don't, because as soon as you push record, you will instantly run out of memory. But here are also some photos that I shot both with the SE and the S22 Plus, so you can get kind of an understanding of where I'm coming from at least. Let me know if you're excited for the 14 or if you're excited for what's coming next in Samsung lineup. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.